Her eyes opened as she blinked. She felt the rays of the sun shine onto her room and right to her face when she got up from her bed, closing the curtains with a wave of her hand as they shut. The dream felt all too surreal. Whatever happened in that dream seemed as if it was a memory of true events. But why did she dream of something she never knew about? A memory of one's life, the boy's life. But why, I wonder? Can I ever be happy like him? That little boy's words cut her deeply, mostly because she knows what it feels like to be a parent of sorts. She loves her children, whether they're against her or with her, just like her children who left to her sister's kingdom and are part of her knights. Oh, you're awake. What's this? Morgan looked at Archer, who was out of his butler uniform and instead wore his casual clothing from yesterday. I see you got your clothes back too, she replied, depressed. Relax. The suit you gave me didn't go anywhere. I'll still wear it. Archer said as he placed down the tray on the table next to Morgan's best breakfast. Enjoy. Archer said, You actually cooked something. What? Did you expect me not to cook? I was simply following orders. Nothing else, Archer said as he turned around and began to leave. Wait? Archer stopped and turned to look back at Morgan. Yes, master. There you go again with that name. A force of habit, sadly. Given that you're my familiar, you should feed me. Come again. I said that you're my familiar, remember. Therefore you must feed me instead of myself doing so. The more you speak, the more you sound like a neat, Archer mumbled. But it can't be helped, Archer said in defeat. Is he sure that she's truly the demon lord? Good. Very good, Morgan said as she saw Archer begin to pick up the fork on the pancakes that gave syrup over them, cutting them up with a blank stare. May I ask you a serious question? Depends on what you wish to ask. Archer replied, feeding her a piece from the pancakes. Morgan chewed as she calmly ate it, savouring the flavour as Archer sticks the fork down again. So delicious. Morgan mumbled with shock. She's never tasted such perfect pancakes before. The right amount of syrup was used. The pancakes themselves sent tons of flavour. I might have fallen, Morgan said. Fallen? Fallen for my familiar. Ha ha, very fun. Archer said as he began to feed her again. After a while, Morgan finished her breakfast as Archer set the tray down to the side. So what is it you wish to speak about, master? I was wondering if you know anything about dreams, especially dreaming about weird anomalies that you've never seen in your life, Morgan said. Archer pondered at what she meant. He does not have a clue about what she meant. No, there's nothing I know about the topic of anomalies that you can dream of. Why? Did something happen overnight? I suppose you can say, do. Morgan replied with a nod. It was a dream about a fire. A fire? That doesn't sound abnormal. You must have seen some pretty nasty fires due to being a demon lord after all. You didn't let me finish, familiar. Yes, I can see why you would find it normal, but this is more than suspicious given I don't have a memory of such a fire, Morgan replied. There was a giant hole in the sky, like a void, and all around were buildings that were destroyed, with my suspicion that void in the sky must have caused that destruction. Archer remained silent, looking blankly as his master talked, realizing what she dreamed about. And did this dream affect your mental state in any way, master? No. I wouldn't say much, Morgan denied. I've seen much destruction and done much worse. But the thing that I saw in that dream, besides all the rubble of broken-down buildings, was a boy. A young boy who walked alone in sorrow and grief, trying his best to survive. Sounds very tragic. Yes, I agree. But for some reason what happened was that after a while the boy gave up and fell. He got stuck beneath the rubble, not getting up, until a man saved him. A man? Or a black suit, and he looked around everywhere. Seemingly, he was in despair, trying to save anyone, anybody he can find, but found nothing, until he saw the boy's hand, and then dug him out after a while, crying and thanking the boy for being alive. Sounds to me like the man was saved from despair by saving the boy. Agreed. They both saved each other, with the boy surviving. He saved the man in the process, and the man who saved the boy from death. With silence, he was tasked with his orders to clean up around the castle. Of course, he couldn't deny, nor did he feel obliged to deny, such a request. It's better having him do work around the castle than having to deal with other things that may cause him displeasure. Interactions between those of the monsters that reign among the castle have been fairly normal. He expected to be viewed down or, at best, get weird stares due to being seen as a normal human. But he just had relaxing talks with the others. He expected much more brutality, more yelling, mostly because they are the Demon Lord's army after all. But perhaps his judgment was clouded from his prejudiced thoughts due to past experiences. Throughout the rest of the day in peace, anyone who spotted the butler would notice a small smile on his face, cleaning away at whatever there was to clean, humming in peace. "What's that guy's problem?" Baoban whispered, looking from the corner as she spied on her mother's familiar. She hasn't seen him take a break at all from cleaning, and it's obvious the man doesn't intend to. Is he even a hero? You know it's rude to spy on people, right? I've been spotted, Baoban said in shock as she saw the man continue to clean. And no, perhaps it was a fluke. He was probably talking to someone else. Nope. Can hear you talking. You're not that good at being quiet, are you? So. What's wrong with not being quiet? Nothing, just that if you're trying to be quiet, then do act quietly. Is there a reason you're spying on me, Princess? Princess? Doesn't everyone call you that? I suppose so, but hearing it from you is off. How so? Who knows? Baoban said, who shrugged, looking at Archer with a frown. I haven't seen Mother this lit up or shown any interest for the past couple of years. So what makes you special? How am I supposed to know? Perhaps the world of spirits or parallel worlds caused a spark in her head. Archer suggested, Yes, I guess that's a valid answer. Baoban said with a TS key. I will ask this, why don't you have a weapon? Surely you can't be a hero without a weapon, Baoban said. Depends, I am my master's sword. If she needs a swordsman, I'll wield a sword. If she needs a bowman, I'll wield a bow. A spearman, then I'll use a lance. But you're an archer, Baoban said with judgment. I take it that you use a bow primarily and not anything else. Depends in the case. Close combat I use swords. Far away I snipe, Archer said with a smirk. But yes, I suppose the bow is one of my main weapons, Archer said, holding the broom in one hand, and his other hand he gripped an imaginary handle. A bow formed slowly from out of nowhere. Magical energy used up as Archer projected his bow. How'd you do that? The vampire next to Archer asked, confused but in a bit of awe. Archer meanwhile looked at her with a confident smirk. Magicraft. Wait. Baoban looked at the bowman. You're a mage? Surprise came from her voice. Something wrong with that? Not entirely. It's just a surprise, that's all. From the looks of it, you used projection magecraft. Correct. Archer nodded. You know fairly well about magecraft. I'm impressed. Given that my mother is a mage as well, I'd know a thing or two. Fair enough. Shouldn't projection be quite fragile? So why use it? My projection is different than normal projection. I have my own version that's only usable by me and nobody else. They can't learn my level. That is to say, unless a doppelganger copies you, Fufu. I don't know what you mean, Princess. I'm simply being logical here. You may not know a lot about me or my body, but just know that I know myself better than anyone else. The only one that can copy me is me. Simple as that, Archer said, referring to the obvious boy in his mind. So mysterious. Baoban muttered as she sweat drops. It's not a mistake. The boy thrust his sword, his limbs fired up, his scratched and battered body aching from the wounds. The boy strikes at him without technique and skill. He could easily block and kill the boy once and for all, but he could not do so. He gripped the sword in his hand, which was raised, stopping himself. He felt the blade of the boy pierce his chest. The boy won. I won, Archer. Yes, and I lost. That's right. The only person that can copy him is him, Emilia Cheroux. Nobody else.